402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Right now at Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down. And I mean everything. Top-tier equipment? Check. 24-hour access? You bet. Free fitness training? Always. Workouts in the free PF app? What'd I tell you? Even super friendly team members.
Hey, welcome to Planet Fitness.
Oh, hey. I was just mentioning you.
Hey.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th. See Home Club for details.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Play ball!
Tired of the same old routine? Then bring your crew out to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. Enjoy action-packed home games all week long from May through August. It's the perfect change-up to the typical family night, or makes for a home run outing with friends and coworkers. Experience the magic and get in on the excitement. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets now. Unleash the fun.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Soulful Casino in Havelock is a family-owned business, providing incredible food and service that'll have you craving more with every bite. Soulful Casino offers everything from pulled pork to fried chicken, catfish, ribs, and even quesadillas. You want sides? They've got them. From fries, green beans and baked beans, to collard greens, potato salad, and sweet dill corn. Stop by for lunch as they have specials Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2 p.m. That's Soulful Casino, located in Havelock, where every bite you take fills the soul.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we're expecting mainly sunny skies and light winds with an afternoon high around 83. Tonight, mostly clear and calm, low around 58. And tomorrow, shaping up to be a near repeat of today with mainly sunny skies, light winds, and an afternoon high around 83. Meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, Nebraska! Registration is officially closed for the 40th Annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games will feature 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. If you didn't sign up but want to follow along for results or watch the action yourself, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. Thanks to our partners, Nebraska Orthopedic Center, Pepsi Cola, Nebraska Medical Association, and Farmers Mutual of Nebraska.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of your liberty and pursuit of your justice for those that have been injured. My name is Seth Morris, attorney with Liberty Law Group. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, call 877-42-LIBERTY. Our relentless trial attorneys are committed to the highest quality legal representation. At Liberty Law Group, we will fight for you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Again, that's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Football season is nearly here, and your long wait for year 2 of Matt Rule is almost over. Gear up for the season with 93.7 The Ticket's coverage of Big Ten Media Days from July 23rd to the 25th, live from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Jay Foreman, Amon Green, Adam Carricker, Chancellor Brewington, Derek Pearson, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Nick Sainer will be in Indy for our shows Tuesday through Thursday. Getting the latest news from Nebraska and everyone else around the conference. Coverage of Big Ten Media Days is brought to you by 1890 Nebraska, Stevens and Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America, this is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Chancellor Brewington.
All right, welcome into What's Brewing, Chancellor Brewington. I got the host, as always, the former Husker tight end Chancellor to my left on a nice, cool Wednesday night. If you guys want to join in, no Royals tonight, 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line. If you want to put a face to the voice, as we will have a guest streaming in, Facebook, YouTube, Allo, Channel 961, as always. With the house cleaning out of the way, I'll throw it over to the host, Chancellor Brewington.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a great show in tonight. A special guest in. I collabed with them a little bit during my YouTube time with doing my D&D channel. And now we got Justin Adams from Voice of College Football. And he's doing great things. How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing? It's good to see you on here. Good to work with you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's going great. So I've been seeing the channel. The channel's been doing awesome. I've been even peeping it. I missed some stuff throughout the week, so I actually watch y'all stuff. So shout out to that. And just a little bit, like how has that been going for you?
Yeah, it's been going great, man. Channel growth has been, excellent, especially over this off season. Building a great community of Husker fans and just trying to keep the content pushing. I'm a big recruiting nerd, so this is kind of my. I like this off-season little part right here where most people, it's kind of the dead period, but get to focus on a little bit of film recruiting and stuff like that. But channel's growing. Like I said, we got a great community and a lot of good stuff going on over there. So,
no, I love it. I love it. So going off of that, I guess we can just get right into it. We're going to go all Husker talk for the whole, hour. I think we got right now, but unless you want to talk some Houston Texans, I don't know if you want to do that.
Listen, right. This year is the year this is the off season. I want to talk Texans.
There you go.
The last, 10 years, man. No, I'm not. I'm out on that. So
I'm already knowing. But to get right into it. So looking at this roster this year, where have the Huskers, in your opinion, made some improvements? Meaning in the transfer portal, just some additions, maybe development in some guys during the spring and summer. What's your ideas on that?
Yeah, so first things first, it's easy to look at the quarterback room and see the improvements there in terms of just, of course, Dylan Raiola and what we expect from him.
Right.
But looking beyond that, just the weapons that he's going to have. Of course, I think the biggest addition that most people are going to say and one of the most important cogs of this offense is going to be Jamal Banks. Jamal Banks is one of those guys. He is a sure-handed guy. He is a guy who can go up and get the ball at its highest point. He knows how to be physical. He knows how to use his body. It's one of the things. He not only has a big physical, stature, but he knows how to use it. He's sharp in his route running. He's going to be one of those guys that you can look to in the end zone. He's going to be one of those guys that you can look to when you need a first down. And I believe he had the highest 93.1 was his PFF catch rate or drop grade. So he does the ball a lot. He reminds me, and as a Texans fan, I'm going to say this, but understand that when I say somebody reminds me of somebody, I'm talking about in their style of play.
Right.
He reminds me a little bit of DeAndre Hopkins in terms of he's just a sure-handed guy who knows how to use his body and get the ball, and he can make some difficult catches. What a lot of people, looking at his stat line and stuff like that, they'll look at his time in Wake Forest, but Wake Forest had an abysmal offense, a really bad quarterback, and he was their leading receiver. So Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nair is, to me, going to look similar to a Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins in Houston 2017 type of situation. You can get those guys, get like Will Fuller out on, and Isaiah Nair is a burner. He can run. He's got a big body, but he can run. So you get a guy like Banks and him out on some crossers, and you got guys like Jalen Lloyd coming out of the slot. It's going to be a tough matchup for a lot of teams. So just one of the sure-handed guys that we Really, last year with all the injuries, we weren't able to have a sustainable number one option out there just because of all the rotation that they went through. So that'll be huge for Dylan Raiola in year one for sure. And then outside of that, the offensive line, a lot of people talk down the offensive line. The offensive line improved year over year, pretty good, pretty significantly. That offensive line was much improved last year. You had a guy like Michael Mazuka to that line who's going to be able to go in there and, comes from the SEC. So he knows, playing high level competition, and he performed his best against the top competition. So he's going to be able to come in there and get you a little bit more flexibility in that line. He can play, Justin Evans spot, and Justin Evans can rotate around between guard and center. So the offensive line, the wide receiver room, of course, two huge improvements on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's going to be really interesting as you were speaking, I was thinking of this, is how having two outsides, and you got IGC coming back, you got some other guys coming back at the outside, maybe putting Coleman in there in the mix. So you got like a real two deep, and at the receiver position, you can plug guys in. That's the beauty of it. And if you're playing Power 5 ball, usually you got a rotation of 4, 5 to 6 guys that you can plug in and out. Maybe a top 5 that you trust a little bit more. But what's going to be interesting, I want your take on this, Harrison, as well. Jalen Lloyd, now his role is going to be a little less. It's going to be a lot more. How should I say, carved out. Yeah. It's going to be really specific. It's going to be, I need you to stretch the field. It's going to be big shot plays with him. It's going to be these little tunnel screens. It's going to be these RPOs, catching the ball, making a man miss and getting upfield. So it's going to be super awesome to see him in a real identified role. And I think it's going to make the offense a lot more dynamic, because it's always good to know the defense always has to key in. Okay, this guy can stretch us deep. If we get in quarters, we got to check out of it if this guy's in it. And if we can establish that type of playmaker, that type of aggression and play call with him in, I think sky's the limit for the offense, because I think that's going to be the piece, having a slot that can stretch the field, but also make some things happen with some short passes.
Yeah, absolutely. He's obviously proved it last year that he's got the wheels.
Right.
He's a vertical threat every time out there. He's going to stress the safeties out. They're going to at least have to try to identify where he's at. I'll ask both of you guys this. Where do you kind of see his role fitting in with this Huskers? You mentioned putting him at that slot quite a bit. And Justin, I'll ask you, obviously an incredible season where he had to kind of jump in there due to injuries. But what are you kind of thinking this next step in this year 2 for Lloyd, who already put a lot of good tape on the table in year 1?
Yeah, I think what we've kind of already seen, and we saw a little bit of it in the spring game, is he's developed his route running too. And so he's going to be able to get open a lot more of that short to intermediate pass game. And the biggest thing that you want to do with a player like Jalen Lloyd and Isaiah Nair as well is just get the ball in their hands as much as you can and try to get them in space. And so with his, improvements in the route running, and he's going to be just a tough person to cover, because you're not going to know who to put on him. You're not going to know if he's going to go deep. You're not going to know if he's going to go underneath. So continuing to develop his route running as even more than he already has is going to make him a nightmare matchup for people. But I do think a lot of his role in this offense is, of course, he's going to be able to stretch the field, but you're going to have to do a couple of little underneath things to him. And I think he's just going to be used, it's kind of a positionless style of offense that Satterfield likes to run. So I think they're just going to do whatever they can to get the ball in Lloyd's hand, whether that be, getting him across the field and just handing it off on like a jet sweep type of deal. You just want to get the ball in his hands for sure.
Right. And staying on the offensive side of the ball, when we talk about Dylan Raiola and the things he can bring to the game, obviously, I would say he's a dynamic thrower. I would say the arm angles we see him throw, the accuracy, but yet the way he can put some touch on deep balls, on the move. We've seen him outside the pocket in the spring game. Just really, really fantastic stuff, right? So him being this dynamic ball player, how does this change up the offense? And what do you think the identity of the offense is going to be? Because my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion, I believe that it has to change. It has to change. It has to conform to his abilities and his attributes. I believe that it should be a 60-40 pass team. I believe that if Dylan doesn't throw, there should be some games where Dylan throws 35 to 40 times later in the year, of course. once he gets his things going. But I really think early in the year it's going to be heavy. I would be heavy reliant on the quick game, getting Dylan's arm going, get him in rhythm early in the season. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, like you nailed it with the getting him in rhythm early in the season. That's going to be key. And with the way they want to use, the way they talked about the type of quarterback that they want to run their offense with, I think last year's version of the offense was kind of, they had to work with the personnel that they had. And I think Satterfield did the best job that he could working with the personnel that he had. But the problem is just inexperience and injuries. It's really hard to run the offense that you want to run if you don't necessarily have the personnel that you expected to have out there on the field. Not only that, Satterfield was split between the quarterback room, the tight end room, and the offensive coordinator role. So that's tough in and of itself, on top of dealing with all those injuries. So I see it, very much like 25 to 30 early in the season, passes probably like in the 30 range for Raiola. But I see, with Satterfield's offense, he likes to get big. He likes to get physical. He likes to utilize his tight ends. He likes to establish a physical run game to set up, to be able to stretch the field and set up that deep ball. So I do believe it'll probably be kind of what you're talking about, 60-40. And we've seen that in the past. I think at Baylor, it was like 260 yards passing to about 120 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
So it was a very balanced system. So he likes to use one to set up the other. But I do, like you said, I think that they're going to mix it up a lot with looks. They really want to utilize the tight ends. They didn't get a chance to do that last year, but they want to utilize the tight ends in a lot of different ways than they did. So I think now just having, Fedoni off of a, full season uninjured and having a full off season to get prepared and having that tight end room and stuff like that. I think, the tight ends especially are going to be important. But they're gonna use that, establish that physical run game. They're gonna use that to set up the deep balls and get the ball in their playmakers' hands. So,
yeah, I try to look back, and as you're talking, I'm trying to look back on when we had a quarterback with this type of arm, able to be comfortable in the pocket, can make all these type of throws. I can't really. Maybe, I mean, Tommy had some attributes.
Yeah, we had like Armstrong kind of had a cannon in there,
and I would say
Martinez had speed.
I would say Casey.
Yeah.
Casey is a close one. I don't think I know this for a fact. We didn't use Casey the right way when he was here. We could have got a lot more out of him. He was a fantastic ball player, but it's just the scheme we were in. And I think about now that last year you had Chuba, you had Jeff, and you had Heinrich. They all could run the ball. They all could make plays outside the pocket, but also always had that knife in the back of the pocket to always pull out and run. Right. And so what I would like to see is allow Dylan to get really comfortable with less personnel on the field. And what I mean by that is not always going heavy to throw shots. I know that has to do with the O-line, but getting in some creative things, going empty. And I think a lot of times last year, it was every time we got into empty look, teams were suspect for a draw to come, or, some type of, really some type of draw, third and short, stuff like that. So when we get in empty looks and when we get in these 3-by-1 sets this year, I don't think a draw is going to really be on the table. Right. Mm-hmm. So no. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays. I think as an offense coordinator, this is your dream. This is your dream, to have a guy that can throw every throw in the book. And some people might be listening like, of course a quarterback can throw every throw in the book. No, they can't. They cannot. Yeah. They cannot. He can throw every ball, meaning he can throw a 7 route on the other hash. He can throw a 7 route on the same hash. He can throw a crosser rolling out to the right. He can throw a crosser rolling out to the left. So he has a very unique skill set. And I'll just say this: it would be a shame if we didn't get to see it on full display.
100%. Well, and another thing too with him that we haven't had in a while, the wind does get kicking, in Memorial Stadium and in the winter in the Big Ten, and having a big body guy who can really throw and put some velocity on that ball into the wind is going to be important, because naturally that's your accuracy right there. If you can't put enough steam on that ball to get it to your receiver, of course the wind's going to take it, carry it away, and you're not going to have an accurate pass. What he does so well is he's really good at ad-libbing, making off-platform throws, changing arm slots and stuff like that, but he sticks to his mechanics. Everything about the quarterback starts from the ground up. The arm is just an extension of kind of the kinetic chain linking through the feet, the hips.
Yeah, that's really
through
good.
the shoulder, and then keeping that arm across, that he's really, sound with his upper body fundamentals as well. His follow through is really good. And even on the off platform throws, he puts them in a position to, at least we saw in the spring game, he puts them in a position to where either his receiver can get it or nobody can get it, which is another really valuable thing. And I think I like what CJ Stroud had said about his transition into the NFL, where he was talking about getting to your spots and getting to your spots early and knowing where you want to be. He attributed it to like a spot up shooter, getting to your spot before the defense can. And I think the more that Dylan Raiola starts to understand, getting to his spots early as the season goes along, he's going to be very, very difficult to defend, because like you said, he can make throws all over the field. So you can't push him to one side of the field and expect him to not be able to throw cross body. And although we don't want that necessarily, he can get it there if he needs to. And we got so many guys that if you can extend the play, which Dylan Raiola does a good job of being able to extend the play, he's able to stand and take contact on his film in high school. You see it all the time. With some of these athletes that we got, it's going to be hard to contain them for 5, 6, 7 seconds, especially if they're out there man coverage. You get some of these guys loose and he's going to be able to get them the ball.
Right. And as you say that, we think about the offense. Obviously, Dylan Raiola, whoever's at the quarterback position is going to be the main focus. Meaning, me and Harrison talked about this. Guys that are the it factors on the offense. As they go, the team goes.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that. And as the season's getting closer, who are the guys on the offense that are those guys? As they go, the offense goes.
So I want to say off rip, one of my favorite players on this team, because I was a big fan of his coming into the season, and he ended up getting a shot. So what a lot of people don't know, I remember, I think you were on when we were going over one of the, I forget whichever week where we were trying to figure out which running back's going to step in after, Irvin Romero got hurt.
Yeah.
And Emmett Johnson and Quentin Ives were two of the players we named, because Emmett Johnson did get half of the first team reps in last spring. So he was getting a lot of work with the first team.
Mm-hmm.
So, he was ready when his name was called, and just listening to him talk, he's very cerebral, but when listening to him speak in his press conference about, when the spring game was coming up, he's like, I'm just looking forward to practice tomorrow, and that's a mindset right there that shows me that this guy's a grinder. He's ready for anything. And he's a very well-rounded back. He can operate with his quick feet in the phone booth. He can plant his feet and run through you. He can run past you. So he's one of the guys. Now, of course, we have a very diverse running back room, and I think all of these guys are going to be utilized. I think there's some guys, I'll get to later even, and kind of the underrated type of guys that are going to be a big part of this running back room as well. But I think Emmett Johnson is kind of the lead cog in terms of just his experience off of last season. You got a couple guys coming back from injury, so you're going to have to kind of just, maybe ease them into it a little bit. You got, Gabe Irvin and Ramir Johnson. You want to make sure that you kind of have them for the season. So I think we're going to rely on Emmett Johnson heavy early on. And then I didn't know if you want to comment on that before I go to the next one or what. I got a few players.
Yeah, and I'm curious. Like, I agree with you 100%. I think we agreed on that too, talking about Emmett Johnson, especially when you look at last year, how obvious it was for some of those other defenses to realize that we were trying to run the ball just due to the turnover problems, the quarterback situation. Yep, absolutely. And he was still moving the chains for us pretty consistently. And we do got one from the text line. Since we're talking about running backs, feel like we're getting in here now. Doug with mesothelioma chimes in talking about what does that passing running balance look like. Said we've had coaches try 60% passing for 20 years and it has never worked. We need the power run, be a physical team. I also say haven't had a Dylan Raiola. That's highly recruited in the past 20 years.
And I'll combat you. I'll combat you. I appreciate you chiming in, but I'll healthy combat you right there. Because if you look at the team and the structure of this team, if you have all these playmakers, a really, really talented receiver room, and you run in the ball 60% of the time, you're limiting the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And now the defense has no threats on the outside. So I believe this is my belief. I think throwing an RPOs, meaning you throw we call it stings, like a little 1 yard screen, the other receiver goes in block form, you throw a bubble, you throw these things, you're guaranteed at least 1 or 2 yards.
Mm-hmm.
At least. If you do that on first down, you do that on second down, that's just like doing inside zone. It's the same thing. But what does that do? It gets Dylan's arm in rhythm, right? So I would be blown away if we don't see a lot of those early in the year. Yeah. And that's what I mean by the 60-40. It's not so much 60 like we're in spread the whole time. We're throwing, all these basic levels and we're throwing these intricate route concepts. No, it's just getting the ball on the outside, throwing a hitch, throwing an out route to Fedoni, throwing a stick to Fedoni, throwing these flat routes, throwing these RPOs when they load the box in, like teams are gonna do. Mm-hmm. So and
as Justin said too, with Satterfield, I don't think we're just gonna turn into an air raid offense. We're still gonna have the run game. We're still gonna be utilizing those running backs. Let's talk about one more running back. I know you had a few more you wanted to get to. Let's get one more before we go to our first break here.
Yeah, I think Gabe is going to be a really key piece in this. Obviously, you got the Oregon transfer. I get that, but I think Gabe is finally going to get his footing in the offense. Finally, going to carve out a role. You got Emmett, who's this kind of like the slasher. He really presses these zone concepts that we have. But when we get like downhill power, when we get even some counter looks.
Yeah.
Some gap scheme looks where it's really you some dub looks, some duo looks where you really got to go downhill, where you get in these 22 in these 31 personnel or 13 personnels. I think Gabe is going to be that guy, and I think he's going to play a really big role because, as we know, we've seen this in Nebraska past. These little 3rd and 1s, these 2nd and 1s, they sometimes pop for 50 and 60. We've seen it in the past, so especially the way the O-line is playing. I'll say this too. I got another sleeper, and it's not a running back. Mm-hmm. I think both tackles are going to be as they go, we go.
Yep.
I really think so. I think protecting the quarterback and starting with the tackles, starting from outside in.
Yep. Yeah, and to your point about Gabe, like people are excited about Dante Dowdle, but we are excited about him because he was a top 10 running back in his recruiting class. Over at Oregon was in limited action, 100-something yards, over 5 a carry. But, and we saw him flash in the spring game. But I do think there's elements to Gabe Urban's game, Emmett Johnson's game that they've already developed that he still needs to kind of work on. And so I just think those guys are a little bit more advanced. So to your point, I think Emmett Johnson and Gabe are going to be kind of your 1-2 punch, and Dowdle's going to definitely, no doubt, be in there and kind of be able to kind of, use his power, back style as well. And we've seen him get up to speed too in that spring game as well. But Gabe Ervin is, and Matt Rule's talked about Gabe Ervin, like they know what type of guy he is mentality wise. And they said earlier in the spring that he was, near ready to go, but they don't need to see much more from him because they already know what kind of player that he is mentally.
Right. And I think right before we go to break, I think one last guy who not a lot of guys talk about, but I kid you not, if you look past the 4 years that he's been healthy, he's the starting back at the end of the year. Ramir Johnson. Every time he's healthy. Last year he wasn't healthy, so it don't count. Yep. If he's healthy and it get past game 5, 6, 7, and they're all like usual, the running back room has some issues, whatever, Ramir Johnson is there.
He's lightning in a bottle for us at times. He is had one of the more bizarre careers at Nebraska where he has those plays where he flashes, just like you said, like lightning in a bottle. But then obviously with the running back room, with the minutes and injuries, everything on top of it, finds his way back out there. With that being said, though, we're going to wrap up this first segment. We'll keep talking Husker football this upcoming season, what it's going to look like, which players are we expecting to put up some good seasons. So don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling here. What's Brewing? Chancellor Brewington. We got Justin Adams streaming in. We'll keep it rolling. Talk to you in just a little bit.
Play ball! Ready to unleash the fun with Salt Dogs Baseball? Join us at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed games running through August. Stay ahead of the game by visiting saltdogs.com for updates on exciting promotions, giveaways, and events happening each week. Experience a change-up from your typical family night, or make it a grand slam good time with friends and coworkers.
Strike three, you're out.
Don't miss the fun happening all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Are you tired of the same old entertainment options? How about something that's truly fun for both kids and adults? Nebraska Knockerball, the new place to go for your private and corporate parties. Step inside one of their inflatable spears and let out stress in a healthy form of exercise. Or try the human foosball, foot darts, yard pong, giant beer pong, basketball Connect 4, and much more. Nebraska Knockerball, specializing in physical, engaging fun. Call Nebraska Knockerball today at 402-460-8724 to learn more or book a reservation now.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Summer is here, and it's time for Acres postseason planter parts sale. Save big on all in-stock John Deere planter parts. Get an automatic 10% off on your purchase, or get 15% off when you spend $5,000 or more. Buy over $10,000 and get a whopping 20% off. Visit your local Acres location today and stock up on planter parts and save thousands. Hurry, the sale ends July 31st or while supplies last. Acres, solutions for every field.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Kim with Midwest Bank. We know there is more to your business than numbers and spreadsheets. For us at Midwest Bank, the people who make up a business matter most. We believe in getting to know you and your business and providing customized banking solutions that help protect your business and help it grow. Schedule a free consultation with us today. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
Is it time to replace your AC? Call Bryant and save money in every way. Bryant provides you with solutions that save. Save big immediately with attractive rebates and save every day with lower operating costs. Most important, though, the systems are selected to fit you. The right system, priced right, properly installed. That's the way Bryant works for you. How much can you save? Call for a free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
Tune in every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. for the Malone Radio Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Don't miss the opportunity to learn about the Malone Community Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln and the surrounding area. It's the Malone Radio Show with Executive Director John Goodwin and Sports Director Mike Hunter every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey guys, it's Bill Bush. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty has opened a new location in Pender, Nebraska, in addition to their office in Lincoln. The real estate world can be confusing, so why wouldn't you want an expert helping you every step of the way? If you're looking to buy or sell farmland in Nebraska, Kansas, or Iowa, give Ethan Sorensen a call today at 402-380-0432 or visit them online at nextagrealestate.com. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty with locations in Lincoln and now Pender, Nebraska.
Are you looking to upgrade your farm equipment? You're in luck. Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, recently dropped its prices on select late model tractors, combines, planters, and sprayers. Trade in your old equipment today and get never before seen discounts that could save you over $100,000. With great financing options and our A+ support, there's no better time to upgrade. Visit your local Acres store or see the huge savings at acres.com. That's AKRS.com to see the best prices in the nation.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to What's Brewing. Chancellor Brewington got the host, as always, to my left. Streaming in, we got Justin Adams. If you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, as always. And you can also comment on the streams, Facebook, YouTube, and Allo channel 961. Shout out to Justin saying what's up to Justin and Chancellor. And again, feel free to join throughout the show. But Chancellor, your show, the host, I'll throw it back to you.
Yes, sir. So we was just talking about offense. Now let's flip over to the defense. In the room I'm most excited for. I think they have the most depth. I think as they go, the defense goes, is the D-line room. And they call themselves Death Row off of, the Suge Knight. And you see the memes by Coach Knight on Twitter. I love them. And you got some dogs in there. Like, you got some dogs. And just to name a few, you obviously got Nash, obviously got T-Rob, obviously got Jamar, you got MJ, you got Prince Will, you got Cam Lindenhart.
Yep.
Lindenhart.
There you go.
Bro, you got so many, and those were
Isaac Gifford to throw him in there. He's gonna be a dog.
Well, D-line.
Oh, okay. Just the death row.
Just
right.
death row. Just death row. You also got Van Poppel.
Mm-hmm.
He played some very, very, very key minutes. But also, bruh, you got two true freshmen All-Americans. Like, you don't get better than that. So going to that D-line room, what's the expectations? Because you got some veteran guys in there, you got some young pups who are now older. What are the D-line expectations?
Yeah, I think this D-line, especially with, of course, Nash and Ty coming back was massive. But the development of some of these guys, like you mentioned, it's insane year over year. Terrence Knighton has done such a good job with this defensive line. Not only that, just, making some of these personnel that necessarily weren't recruited, under him for the 3-3-5 and kind of making, these guys fit into, because the 3-3-5 is a little bit different in the type of player you'll have there. And so, yeah, the way that this offense or this defensive line is going to roll is because the defensive line is where all this starts for the 3-3-5, of course, because, you got Nash up front, and he's going to be your nose in a 3-3-5. So he's going to be a zero nose. Then you're going to have 2-5 techniques off the side. So when you have him at the nose, what his job is really the edges are susceptible in a 3-3-5. That's really the main attack in the running game that you want to be aware of. So, what he's trying to do is he's trying to contain the play inside of him, force double teams, because teams want to do one-on-one blocks when you're going against a 3-3-5. You want to stay one-on-one and not try to take on too many double teams. You want to try to have numbers, because you're going to be getting so many different players coming down and different looks. And so, if a center can take on your nose and the tackles can get to your ends, then when you have guards pulling around, they get to your stack side, and then they're going to have numbers. If you get a receiver blocking them in the end, they're going to have numbers as well. Also, it leaves you susceptible to attacking the seams in the pass game. It's really susceptible up the seams in the pass game. So having a defensive line that's able to cause a disruption, especially a nose that's able to kind of, what a nose does isn't going to show up too much in the stat sheet, even though with Nash, it kind of does. But he's coming off of a year where too, he did wrestling. And to me, wrestling is one of the best things that you can do to help you with football. First off, wrestling's, in my opinion, it's one of the hardest in terms of just how hard they train and how, physically demanding it is. So coming off of that, his conditioning is going to be crazy, but also he's going to have a better understanding of how to move people, use his leverage, and be able to really kind of cause havoc in the middle of that line. And causing havoc in the middle of that line is what's going to set everybody else up for success. Your edge defenders, you're going to have, of course, the backers that are going to be shooting through gaps, or, they're going to have them also coming off the edges. So what T Knight has done with this defensive line is going to take the stress off of everybody behind them, because that's one of the biggest things. You get the guy moving in the pocket that helps your defensive backs. And one of the things that Nebraska needed to improve on last year was turnovers, because they did everything well. They just needed to force a little bit more turnovers. And that's the way to do it. So another year. And like you said, a lot of these young guys develop. You have 2 freshmen All-Americans, coming back. And so you have 2 guys who are potentially mid-round NFL draft picks if they were to leave this past offseason coming back as well. So you have a revolving door of experience on top of the youth, and these guys can really lead them. And then you got a guy like, Nash and Ty, who have been through multiple coaches, and still, been able to develop and play at a high level. And so they have a lot of leadership and understanding of some of the harder times, to be able to kind of help build these guys' mentality up and help keep them up, and maybe the times where the seasons where, they may be struggling and stuff like that. So, Ty Robinson missed last winter and spring with injuries. One of the big reasons that he came back was because he said he only had 2 months to prep for the season. And he was that good, even with just the 2 months to prep for the season. He said he was behind, and he still was able to rise his draft stock. So I really think Ty can make another jump this year. And of course, Nash is going to do, pick up where he left off last year in his breakout season. He's just going to continue to cause havoc up there.
Yeah, I think starting with Nash, I think it's so interesting, and for those people who don't know, the reason why Nash is playing this so dominant in the pass game, meaning he's getting a bunch of sacks, is the scheme of a 3-3-5. The 3 down linemen are in an odd front, in a 30 front, if you would say. And so what happens is the nose is a 0 tech, meaning he's head up with the center. And what Nebraska does, they also plug in either a Will or a Mike or a Sam into the A or into opposing A and B gaps, right? So occupies a guard, and it allows the center to be one-on-one with Nash. He already got to hike the ball. He already got to get the old line set up, and now he got to be one-on-one with a freak of nature, right? And then yeah, I think it's going to be so awesome to see his game develop, and then also Ty playing a different role. Sometimes I would say Nash probably has the advantage in the pass game, just understanding just schematic wise. But when they go to this 5 down front, they've done this a few times. They get in the set. I forget what they call it. They call it something, right? Where you got all 5 pass rushers. It's usually like a 3rd and long situation, 3rd and 8. And then you got a guy come in, and he sparked on the season, I believe, Northwestern game, James Williams. And I just think it's amazing how he's able to adapt. He's able to get in there, but also just the way this defense is set up. Yeah. It's almost guaranteed that we're going to see someone that we don't really know about going midway through the year, or at the beginning of the year, or the end of the year. That makes a difference. Just because this 3-3-5 is so dynamic. You can plug, we talked about receivers getting plugged in. Well, 3-3-5, that you could plug in 20 different guys, because at the backer position, they're rotating 4 guys. At the D-line position, you got eight guys rotating. Yeah. At DBs, you got, you can throw in some safeties in there. Not really going to change out the corners, just because you want your corners to be in rhythm, of course. But you can plug in some safeties. You can plug in, obviously, backers. You can get to a 5 down front, and drop your backers out into coverage, or have one of them play spy. So it's so dynamic, and we haven't even really talked about Jamari Butler. I think he's going to have a really good year as well. Being able to play that edge spot, isolate these tackles in some pass rush situations, but also the ends that we have, playing against quarterbacks that can run, what ends up happening is in a lot of schemes and a lot of defensive playbooks, they have their edge guys able to play spies to the field. And what that means is they basically are accounted. They just have the quarterback. But they set them to the field for a possible scramble, obviously in the vulnerable position. So I think having those guys, P. Will can do that as well. You got like a guy like MJ who can kind of do some stuff like that. You got, I think, even putting Javen right there doing that, Makai right there as well. And then obviously at backer, you got some young guys who we don't really know how they going to do.
He was a stand-up edge a lot of his film in high school, 7 sacks. So once he puts on a little bit more size, you can see Shavers really making a difference coming down and coming off that edge too.
Nah, for sure.
Absolutely. But that being said, we could go to our next break here. We'll keep breaking down this Nebraska football roster as we're getting closer to college football. So don't go anywhere. What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington? The host is always to my left. We got Justin Adams in here as well. So we'll keep it rolling. Talk to you in just a little bit.
Soulful Casino in Havelock is a family-owned business providing incredible food and service that'll have you craving more with every bite. Soulful Casino offers everything from pulled pork to fried chicken, catfish, ribs, and even quesadillas. You want sides? They've got them. From fries, green beans, and baked beans to collard greens, potato salad, and sweet dill corn. Stop by for lunch as they have specials Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2 p.m. That's Soulful Casino, located in Havelock, where every bite you take fills the soul.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Smart House. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Electrical Enterprises in Roca reminds you, the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their commitment and courage keep our country safe and strong. Let us honor those who've lost their lives in the line of duty and salute those serving today. This from Electrical Enterprises in Roca. For all your residential and commercial electrical construction needs, call 402-438-5822. Saluting our troops and veterans. God bless America.
Hey guys, it's Bill Bush. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty has opened a new location in Pender, Nebraska, in addition to their office in Lincoln. The real estate world can be confusing, so why wouldn't you want an expert helping you every step of the way? If you're looking to buy or sell farmland in Nebraska, Kansas, or Iowa, give Ethan Sorensen a call today at 402-380-0432 or visit them online at nextagrealestate.com. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty with locations in Lincoln and now Pender, Nebraska.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
If it was the Big Ten and the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC's idea to kick back to grow the game at lower levels, we wouldn't have these conversations. But because the NCAA is asking them to do that, it feels like they're getting their wallet stolen, money taken out of it, and it's not their idea, so they're against it.
Yeah.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Wrapping things up here. What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. The host is always to my left. Streaming in, we got Justin Adams as well. And you guys can still join in. 402-464-5685. And like I said, Justin Adams, the Nebraska voice, or the voice of college football and host of Big Ten Show on YouTube. Be sure to give him a follow and subscribe. Chancellor Brewington, the host. I'll throw it back to you.
Yes, sir. I got a question. I heard this from Coach Bill Bush. He does the early break show. If y'all tune in, I think it's 6 a.m. to 8.
Yep, 6 to 8.
Yeah, so plug there because I stole this from him. I saw it on a clip and I'm like, this is genius. But I agree with it. Is this the most anticipated college football season ever? You got the merging of the conferences. You got some big names, especially for Nebraska. Like this is very, I wouldn't say so much for Nebraska, but just as a whole, as a nation, like football this year is going to be really interesting.
Oh yeah, and then we won't have time for it, but the SEC, what that's going to look like, all the Pac-12 teams entering into the big, it's going to be one to watch.
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, well, I'm with, like, I agree. It's different because we were so used to the same thing over and over, and now all of a sudden we have all of these changes coming in at one time. You have these big media network TV deals. So everything's changing as we know it. And I believe we're just getting a lot more college football fans. You know, I think college football is just growing its fan base. And I think it does add to the anticipation. And the more it grows into a business and a kind of a, it's, I don't want to say it's like the NFL, but it's kind of leaning that direction to where it's an organization where their goal is just going to be marketing and getting people excited for it. And I think that's, the changes this year have done that in and of itself. It's going to be very, very interesting to see these teams mesh together. You know, traditionalists don't necessarily like it, but I'd have to agree too.
No, and it's going to be interesting, and maybe it's just because I'm a little bit younger, but the way college football 25 just came out, it plays a huge role, and I don't think people understand. These young cats is going to be really, really riding because this is bigger than 2K right now.
And you're going to know every tradition of all those college football teams.
Every player too. People are going to know players now better because they know all the rosters. You know, they're going to know that.
Yeah, and you think about like NCAA when it was back in 2014. Nobody, Facebook just dropped then. Like nobody was on. It was really a 2013 season. Nobody really. What Twitter was like a couple years old. Like
I think it was on the flip phone even.
Yeah,
I remember right.
Exactly. So now you have Instagram, you got Twitter, you got YouTube, you got TikTok, and now it's I don't think we're ever gonna see something like this. Like it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane.
I agree. Yeah, 713,000 people I think concurrent at one point on NCAA 25 online. That's crazy.
Man, I
Wow.
wonder what they paid for those servers to keep that thing up and running. That's
That's crazy. It crashed in like the first 30 seconds, apparently. So
Really?
yeah,
I
that's
can
how many
believe
people hopped on at one time.
We get damn near 1 million people trying to hop on all at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
Oh, yeah.
As we wrap things up here, we haven't talked about it yet, but I do want to get your opinion. Anybody on special teams catching your eye? That's the one group we haven't talked about yet. Last thing, special teams, your thoughts, anybody piquing your interest that could be an interesting watch this year?
Is that to me or Chancellor?
Yeah, to either who wants to take the floor first. Chancellor, I'll ask you first, and then we'll give it to Justin.
Yeah, I think my goodness. I'll say Ramir back at kick return because we didn't get to see a full year of him. We see him take that one almost back in versus Minnesota, I think it was. And then he gets hurt right after that. So I think putting Ramir back there, I know we still got to figure out this punt return situation. But yeah, I think Ramir at kick return, of course, Tristan at kicker. I think he's been doing an awesome job.
Yeah, I'll throw him Buschini. I think he's going to have a big uptick here. I think people are a little too critical. He did have some bad punts, but I thought for the most part, he was actually pretty solid. Justin Adams, I'll let you answer it, and that'll be the last thing before we get out of here.
Yeah, I've been a big Tristan Alvano defender. We've seen that he has, that ice in his vein quality, 5 for 5 in the state championship game, nailed the game winner. Kicking is a lot of mental stuff. And I don't think people understand how much pressure was on Alvano last year because the offense couldn't score points. And so a lot of the times, in 1-score games, Tristan Alvano's got all the pressure on his shoulders. And if he's struggling throughout the season, with his fundamentals or, it's all mental. If he's overthinking it, he's not going to just flow and stick to the fundamentals. You get real tight and he starts to overthink it. He could pull it, he could push it. And so I think just another year of him to kind of get the repetitions under him. I think the offense kind of improving is going to take some of the pressure off of him to have to feel like he has to nail every single field goal for us to have a chance in these games. So Tristan Alvano, I'm super excited about him, making that jump and kind of getting some of this monkey off his back and the fans just kind of being hard on him.
Yeah, that's a great point too. I didn't even calculate the amount of pressure that was on him to, just get a lot of those points for Nebraska after last season. Definitely a lot of pressure. Before we get out of here, Justin, where can they find you if they want to follow you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm at @the_H-Town Husker on X. And of course, you can follow me at the Voice of College Football on YouTube. So at @the_H-Town Husker on X. So I've only been on there since August 2023. So build my follower base. So yeah,
absolutely.
Give me a follow.
I appreciate you coming on, bro.
I appreciate you having me on. Thank y'all.
You bet. And with that being said, we're going to wrap it up here and be sure to give him a follow. Like I said, not going to just give you the Kool-Aid. He'll give you some good facts with it as well. We're going to wrap it up. We'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.